Vapors, man, and we're back with another Car Talk TV on YouTube, man. And y'all know my face, y'all know my beard, y'all know Kasho Rail, y'all know his face. But we got a special guest today, man, none other than Steve's POV. What's going on, Steve?
What's going on, guys? Thank you. I'm honored to be on the show and to have you guys invite me. Honestly, thank you very, very much.
Yeah, no, man. One thing I'll say, man, just to kind of fill folk in that might not be aware of who you are. I love the energy that you bring to the show. Hold on, we get some reverb. Is that somebody brought? Is it? Yeah.
Hey,
maybe it's more. Maybe you got more than one
pretty
window.
Bad reverb. You're right. Let's see.
Hold on. Maybe it's more than one window open.
You know what I'm gonna do? I got an idea, man. Let's see.
Yeah, that's gonna.
Real New York, back.
Yeah, that's gonna do it.
Vlog.
There you go. There you go.
Appreciate y'all tapping in.
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Oh yeah, loud and clear, loud and clear. Right. That's all it was. A little feedback.
I think that's gonna clean things up, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. What I was saying, man, when I first came across your channel, you have an infectious smile, positive attitude, man. I was just watching your channel, man. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for this dude to get upset. You know, like where does that come from, bro? That positive mental attitude, man. That big smile, man. That energy. Where does that come from? Oh, microphone.
You might have muted. Did he mute?
Nah, did you mute? I can't hear you.
All right, I'm back up. You can
hear
me,
right? Yes, sir. We got you. Yeah.
I'm getting the reverb. That was it. I was getting a lot of feedback. The voice is coming back double, triple to me. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Oh man, yeah. We don't hear it.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah. Did you click the link from Instagram?
I clicked the link that you sent me on my text to set me into this restreams thing. It's just getting some weird feedback through me.
Okay.
Do you have the YouTube live stream going as well?
Yeah, is that playing in the background somewhere?
Let's see.
Yeah. We just make sure.
Hang on.
We got IT support. We will send you the invoice.
Send me an invoice, man. IT support just figured that one out. I had it on my other screen on another browser in the background. I'm hearing everything 2 and 3 times. I apologize.
No, you don't have to apologize. We're gonna send the invoice. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, if you have any more problems, let us know. We'll fix them.
You're like a lawyer. You charge by the minute, though, huh?
You got that right. By the 30 seconds, because sometimes you don't make it to the whole minute.
That's right. Round up too.
Yeah, round up.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what I was asking was like, man, the same smile, the same energy that you got, man. Just from watching your channel, bro, I was always sitting back like, okay, when is this guy gonna get upset? When are we gonna see the real Steve POV, man? Where does this infectious smile and great attitude come from?
I mean, it's I think living in Japan, man, had a big effect on my life, and just looking at things and being open to all kinds of different cultural things and different types of lifestyles, and rich people and poor people and everybody in between type of people, and then being a dad and raising a kid. And I like looking at things, man. I'm always watching stuff. That's the POV thing. You know what I mean? That's where the point of view. I was in the marching band back in college, right? I didn't play sports. I was in the band, but in the band, you sit in an interesting place, right? You sit right, especially because I played the trombone. So you sit in the front row because you ain't poking nobody in the back of the head, right?
Yeah.
So but you're right there on the court. You see the coaches, you see the players, you see the cheerleaders, you see the other fans, how they react. I always watch that, and see, and sometimes it's kind of interesting to kind of watch stuff like that from that perspective and how it unfolded and everybody's positions in the game and life and everything else. And I don't know, man, I guess just overall, you want to send a positive message. I think there's a lot of negative messages. It's easy to give negative messages. I try to avoid it. I get pissed off, of course, man. There's videos where I used to, the thumbnails were a lot of thumbs down. I may still make videos like that someday too. But for the most part, I'd rather talk about, okay, maybe it was a bad experience. I had a thumbs down. How are we going to get over that? Right. Get beyond it and look for something positive, and you know, and you know what I mean, and that's try to what keeps, I think, a smile on the face and positivity, and you know, just having stuff to do like that, and helping people, man. I think helping people makes you smile a lot too. If when people tell me, "Hey, Steve, I heard something you said in that video," or you know what, you had mentioned some of those motivation videos you used to do about this or that, and you know, I took that and I embraced it and I did this. You know, it motivates me more, makes me really happy that somebody benefited from something. I don't know, maybe easy for me to say, but you know, if it had a good effect on somebody, it really comes back and makes me even more positive. You know, want to do more for other people.
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. When we were kind of doing promo for the show, you know, we put on there, you know, of course we're gonna blow you up, man. We're gonna make you like, I don't know, Tom Cruise. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be like, yo, we got Tom Cruise coming through tonight. So y'all, you know, so you know, we did a promo. It's like over 381,000 subscribers, over 100 million views. This is all true.
Yeah,
those are YouTuber dreams. Did you seek out to become a YouTuber, or were you just posting videos and ended up being a YouTuber?
Yeah, more of the second of those two options there. The truth is that I was at a point in my life, it was maybe 45, 44, well, no, I'm going to say 42, 43 years old, somewhere in there. And business that I was doing for a long number of years in Japan, translating and consulting, and there's a whole lot of stuff that I was doing were kind of not making money like they were previously. Things had changed. A lot of guys I was working with, their Japan business just, you know, planked after I was there, and you know, in the 90s. And I'm not saying, you know, I mean, while I was there, technically in the 90s, it started its downturn, and it just hasn't really ever fully recovered in a lot of ways. So I need to reinvent myself, and I need people to know, here's this guy who knows about Japan. He's not a kid, right? He's worked in Japan. He speaks the language. I traveled through Asia. I've done a lot of different businesses and everything else. And, you know, and here I am available to do stuff with, you know, let's talk. You got a business, you want to do some trading, you want to do car stuff, whatever, let's do it. But in a way I figured I could do it, the easiest way I could promote myself to the world and not try to cost myself millions of dollars advertising and doing it, was to get on YouTube and start speaking Japanese and doing stuff that I liked with my kid. And that was car shows and talking about car life in America. And if you look at those early videos, they all end with, you know, stuff that I like to do, but they all ended with, if you have any business inquiries, or, you know, in Japanese, I had Nihongo de otoiwasen nattabai wa meiru kudasai. I would put something in there in Japanese that the people would say, or at the end, contact me. You got something you want to do? Let's do some business. And that's kind of started developing in the people contacting me and doing stuff. And then the channel growing a little bit, and I did some of those comparison videos that became real popular, the Japanese salaryman versus the American salesman, where I kind of played both characters. And, you know, they took off in Japan. A lot of people started looking at those. And then I started getting invited for more people. And then some bigger car guys where I'd reach out to some people in Japan. And then I met Liberty Walk, Kato. And then I met Morohoshi. And I met these. And it just started going. It wasn't that I wanted to be a YouTuber, honestly. I wanted to just meet people and start making some money and start some business up with people. And that was the goal. It really wasn't about trying to be somebody with 300,000 subscribers or 400,000 subscribers. Who knows, man? I try not to get caught up in it. It's kind of weird, you know. But I you know, that's a leverage for me now. I mean, I'm a realtor. I do work with people in Japan, and I moved to Texas, and I'm helping people here. Guys who watch my channel who contact me, and families who watch my channel contact me, say, you know what, we watch you, we know you're a realtor. I don't talk about it a lot, but I throw it in there because I hope that what I'm doing or that thing is some leverage, or at least people can say, hey, I like the guy, I hate the guy, I'll work with the guy, you know, I don't trust the guy, he's full of, you know, crap kind of guy, whatever. They could see pretty much the Steve that they see on the channel. That pretty much gonna be the Steve that they're going to deal with in whatever transaction. So let's be friends. Let's meet new people. Let's do some business. Let's make some money together. Let me help you. And and that'll hopefully roll into me being able to help more people, and hopefully, videos that I do that are happy and fun, and people look at it and say they enjoy watching, they tell somebody, and people buy some of my merchandise or do some of that, then it's all good,
Yeah. Hey, Steve, looks like we got a question popped up, but
yes,
getting to that, man, talking, going back to the beginning with you, how did you discover the Japan car culture?
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up, when I was growing up, I had no interest in Japanese cars whatsoever, man. I was in American muscle cars, street rods, hot rods, Impalas, lowriders. I was in you know, we'd style our cars. The ass was up like that with big fat tires and Keystone Krager wheels in the back, and you know, that's how we rolled in the old Chevys and stuff, Camaros or whatever. But then when I got to Japan in the summer of 1991, maybe it was around there, 92. And got there and I started seeing all these cars that were like, I was like, wow, man, I didn't realize Japan was skyline and, you know, and these sedans that I would start seeing, these cool sedans. Guys would take big sedans, like, you know, there was no Lexus in Japan at the time. It was still a Celsior or, you know, a Celsior at the time was the LS 400, basically that body, but it wasn't called a Lexus, it was a Toyota Celsior. Guys would slam them down. They put big wheels on them, Toyota Crowns. Old men would drive a Toyota Crown, but then a young kid would take a car like that and he'd lower it and he'd have big wheels and all the Japanese accessories inside and stuff. And just being in the cars in general, I started connecting with guys who were in the cars there. And I just started, man, it just started growing on me. And I said, damn, there's a lot of cool cars. And being into buying and flipping cars and doing that all my life anyway, you know, over there, I started buying cars and started driving different cars, and I'd sell it, and usually sell it to a foreign dude who didn't have those connections yet in Japan. So I would be able to turn around, flip it to somebody like that, turn around, find myself another car, and then flip it to somebody again, and then, you know, do it. So it just grew on me, man. Japanese cars were amazing and all just fresh and new, so it was exciting, and yeah, kind of became part of my life, I'd say.
And I think the cars are dope, Steve, like all the cars and everything that you have. But I find it far more interesting, man, your business acumen and the ability, man, to speak fluently in Japanese and to be able to flip that. I guess I would call that a skill set, you know, learn another language and be able to flip that into business, man. What drove you, or how did you end up in Japan from the beginning?
So I was I discovered Japan really. I mean, I knew about a country called Japan, but, you know, honestly, back in the day in the 70s, you know, if you were in the cars, you were not in the Japanese cars. They were pieces of crap. You know, you were American muscle, you have horsepower, big, you know, cubic inch engines and stuff. So, but I went to University of Wisconsin. I was in the Big Ten. That's Badgers. That was where I marched in a marching band and did all that. When I was there, I had to take as a business major, I had to take a class about, there was, you know, a lot of pre-requirement classes that you have to take to get into business school. One of those was, I think it was a politics class, and you could choose from that. And it was a comparative politics class, and they talked about the politics in Japan, China, America, and England. And, you know, it was a fascinating class. I learned a lot. The professor happened to be a guy who was really in the Japanese culture and Japanese history and Japanese politics. And some of the stuff, even from the politics, I started picking up about the culture and the way things are done, really kind of struck like a interesting chord with me. And then going into business school at the time, you would start hearing about everything was the Japanese work style. Why was Japan at that time? At that time, if you look back in the 80s, right? You guys too young probably don't know about those times, but at that time, right, the Japanese economy was the rocket ship, right? So they were talking about Japan being the #1 economy in the world, how this little country was taking over the entire world. And for me, I was like, damn, that's interesting stuff, man. How, you know, it was fascinating. The culture was fascinating. And everything we're learning about is how the Japanese work, I think, these just-in-time inventory management systems, and a lot of things that American companies are starting to try to look at and understand and study in business school as well. They were teaching you. I thought it was fascinating. I became friends with some Japanese exchange students, and I started studying the language. And then two of those exchange students were the ones whose dad owned a chicken farm in rural Japan, and rural outside of Tokyo, a ways, not crazy, but quite a ways out there. They owned a number of farms that had over 1 million chickens. And the kids had a room that they stayed at when they were in Japan. They, you know, their own little apartment type thing. And they said, hey, if you want to go during the summer and stay at the chicken farm out there, you could do that and stay at our place. And I said, all right, I want to take you up on it. So I went out there. I stayed there for 3 months during the summer and had a great experience on a chicken farm, something I'd never done. And even, you know, growing up in New York and New Jersey was never my life. So that was new. And to do it around all Japanese, you know, I immersed myself there basically. Came back to America, to Wisconsin, confident that I knew I could learn the language. I had it down. I got back into the Japanese class for the second year, and I just started going. I learned it. I had confidence in it. And then I entered this contest in 1993 called a Japanese Speech Language Contest. It's a national contest where people learning Japanese can go up and do a speech at the embassy in Chicago. I went there, and a lot of guys were all in suits and all that. And they were talking about Japanese culture versus American culture and trade friction, because at that time there was a lot of trade wars with Japan and all that. It was boring stuff. Half the people were like that, and I came out in a hat with on it this far, and a up suit with the Japanese company lettering across it, and my rubber boots up to my knees, that chicken farm uniform. And I talked for 10 minutes about wow, talking 10 minutes to them about what I did on the chicken farm, but in a funny way. And people were laughing their asses off, and so I won this contest, right, from doing the speech. And that was a first class round trip ticket on Japanese airline at the time. And and I made it. Prior to that, Japanese companies started contacting me. There was no internet then, so they kind of came through the Japanese program at Wisconsin. And one thing led to another. To shorten this all up, I wound up with that free first class ticket at the time. Went to Japan, did some interviewing with a company there, and and there wasn't a lot of foreigners back in Japan back then. Not like today, where there's tons and tons. There was American military, of course. There were some foreigners there, but this was kind of a unique thing. This companies there weren't hiring foreign people at the time. They'll tell you straight up, hey, you know what? We ain't, we're Japanese only. That's it. It was a Japanese only environment. But so this company took a risk on me, took me there. And that was my beginning of my life there in 1993, end of 93 or so, 94. Yeah.
Wow. No, I think that's amazing, man. I'm just sitting here. I felt like I was in the audience, man, when you gave that speech, man. I can see you. I can see the rubber boots pulled up, man, with the work shirt on and the hat. And just based on your personality, man, I can hear you delivering that speech, man, in a comical way, man. So I definitely can imagine you taking home the trophy.
I brought it home, man. I brought it home.
Man, forget a car show trophy. Give me the foreign language speech trophy any day of the week, my friend. That'll take you much further than that. You had the biggest rims at the car show. But hey, Steve, I saw a picture. I saw a picture on your page, man. I'm like, is this a real presentation? It said, what was it? Best sounding car. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Was that a real award?
That was a real award, man. That was for my Ferrari. I went on a rally here in Texas a few weeks ago called the Triple Crown Rally.
Okay.
Put on by a great group of people who've been so nice to me here, called Park Up Front in Dallas. Well, in Texas, they're an app for car shows and for the car community. And ever since moving here, man, they've been so nice to me. They invited me on this rally with them, and spent 3 days with them on the rally. And my Ferrari's pretty loud. It's got FI exhaust on it, and it's obnoxious in how it looks. It's obnoxious in how it sounds. And they had an award sponsored by Top Speed, who's an exhaust company. That was the scene right there, man. And it brought a crowd in at the winery that day. Out there, those people, there were a bunch of kids they were driving across country from Florida out to California, and they stopped, and they just had a great time, man. We took pictures on the hood of the car. They heard the car. I was revving it, redlining it right there. It sounded so good.
Yeah.
That's
Now, your car is heavily modified, so maybe some folk don't easily recognize it. Can you tell us, the make of your car and kind of what you changes you've made to it?
Absolutely. So this is a 2011 458 Italia Ferrari, 458 Italia, and it's got a Liberty Walk body kit, which is the wide fenders, that front splitter, the front bumper. And it is it's got a rear duct spoiler. It's got a rear diffuser. It has FI exhaust. It has HRE wheels, front and rear, purposely different colors, gold in the back, white up front. It sits on air ride suspension. It's got a nice little tune to it. So it burbles and it crackles and it pops and it shoots some flames, and the FI exhaust, of course. And finally, it's got LED lights all over it. It's got strobe lights. I think there's probably about 30 some odd strobe lights all over it. And there's underlights all over the car as well that make it glow like a rainbow at night.
Yeah, man, that is a beautiful car. We got a question from Pat's Garage Online, man.
Yes.
That's the man that runs all the I8 content, man, on YouTube, man. He asked,
Sure.
what's your favorite supercar?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What is your favorite supercar?
My favorite supercar, man. You know, I like this 458 Ferrari. It's the last of, you know, of an NA, you know, naturally aspirated car for Ferrari. It drives nice. So, you know, you could daily drive this car, I think, if you wanted to. Maybe not mine because of how modified and crazy it is, but I do think it's an awesome car. I really do. I mean, it's a hard question. I mean, in Japan, I had an Aventador that I was driving. I love that car too for different reasons. You know, that's the bull. It really is the bull versus the ballerina versus the, you know, the Ferrari can dance and the bull just kind of tears stuff up, you know, and that's the difference. But they're both good in different ways, you know. I like them both.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. You're right about that bull, man. I want me a Huracan one of these days, man.
Oh yeah.
I think that'll be my first supercar experience, unless I get the Tesla Plaid. You know, I have a I just bought a Tesla Model Y Performance, and it's fast, but I mean it's not Plaid fast. Yeah,
I lost you for a second. Sorry about that.
Oh no, I was saying the Huracan is my dream car as far as supercars, but I said, man, I might pick up that Plaid by Tesla.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah,
man.
she's pretty fast, man. We got another question for you from ZTRD. He said, MK4 Supra or MK5 A90 Supra?
MK4, of course. Yeah,
Tell us
Mark.
why. I'm not familiar with those cars.
So I mean, that's the ultimate in the Supra. You know, that's the one that everybody wants. That's the good-looking Supra. But I'll tell you what. Go back to the Mark III Supra and get ahead of the curve, because it's just a matter of time that, you know, the earlier Supras, some people look past and they're already going up. But it's kind of like the RX-70 FC that we built, me and my son, the white car that looks like the initial D car with the red suns on the side. That car too is a car that's still not like an FD, the next generation RX-7. It's kind of like the Supras too. So in my opinion, so yeah, I don't know. You know, it depends what kind of build you're doing, what kind of budget you have to work with. But certainly the Mark IV are going to continue to go up, and then the earlier ones are going to have to come up too. And you know, that's you may want to look back at one of your earlier ones. You may not regret that decision one day, or you may regret not doing something like that one day when you look back and say, "Damn, I could have bought that thing for how much back then, and look at how much it is now." As is with everything you kind of look back at in this, particularly with these type of cars.
Yeah, no, that's true. You mentioned earlier that you know, you made a move across country to Texas, because when I came across your channel originally, you were you know, LA area and,
Yes.
and whatnot. I thought you had a pretty cool setup, garage and everything, cars scattered around. What kind of brought about the move from Hollywood, man? Everybody want to move to Hollywood. I'm in North Carolina, so us country boys, we want to move to the big old city of LA, man. Why would you leave LA, man? Come on, tell us.
Oh man, that's you know, a couple things. Where California is an expensive place to live.
Yeah.
There's a lot of restrictions on stuff in California. The pandemic kind of you know, accentuated a lot of that stuff. There started to become some lawlessness and other stuff that started spreading, you know, around LA. And you know, there was a vibe that told me at this point in my life, and thankfully I was at a point in my life. My son was in college already in Georgia. He goes to school, you know, in Georgia. It was just me and my wife. My brother was there at the time, but he was open to leaving too. He was getting a little tired of things in LA, the way things were unfolding, the way things had become, how expensive everything was, how crowded it was. And I flew here to Dallas and drove around for a couple of days and said, man, I like the vibe. I wanted to be in a place where one, car scene was happening. Two, I can get to an international airport, still get to Japan once all this pandemic stuff was over. Because LA to Japan was one great way. Being on the West Coast to get to Japan was easy.
Yeah.
Being in Texas, or somewhere else, I didn't want to have to fly 3-4 different places and become a 20-hour journey to do it. DFW to Japan. So that was another reason on Texas. I always dreamed about having some land, having a shop behind my house that I can have to put the cars in and to do that. And I didn't think it was an affordable option in California, and what I wanted to do. So being a realtor too, it was pretty easy to say, I'm going to put my house for sale. I'm going to sell my brother's condominium in Sherman Oaks, and we're moving out and going to Dallas. And I got no regrets on that whatsoever. We love it here. And I miss California, man. California is a great place. There's great people in California, and California is a beautiful state. There's, you can't beat the rides to Malibu, going through the hills, the Mulholland, driving up, but then sitting in traffic on the 405 sucks ass so bad. I mean, you start to appreciate some of the country life a little bit of space. I mean, here where I'm at, right? I'm in a place called McKinney. I'm not in Dallas proper, but I can be there if I want to in 40 minutes, and I could be in Frisco and Plano and all the places, but get away to your own place, your own space, a little bit of, and for me, that's, I don't know, that was the lifestyle that I was looking for, at least at this point in my life. It's not for everybody, but that's what attracted me to this part of the country, for sure.
Hey, well, look, we our channel, Car Talk TV, we went to an event recently in Dallas, and we stayed downtown Dallas, but there was an event in Arlington. I think that was about 40 minutes away, and then there was the main event was at the Texas Motor Speedway in Ennis, Texas.
Yep.
So next time we come to Dallas, we got to have brunch or something, Steve. We got to meet up with you and have brunch, man.
On me, 100%. I would look forward to that. I definitely suggest you do that on, where there's a weekend involved and you come and take part in a Saturday morning event. Maybe you could do a live show or something from there to share with people, like our mutual buddy, the Lucci.
Yeah.
I've been inviting him out. Maybe we get him to get out here too at that time. You guys can come. We all go have a good time. You guys will really like what you see here, man. It's great. Not that there aren't great car scenes in all places, but really there's something special about the car scene here. It's open, from supercars. You got Tim, whose son Gigi Exotics has that Koenigsegg that he had wrecked, remember?
Yeah.
Well, they got a Regera now that they're unveiling. They're supposed to unveil yesterday. You got cars like that. You got Ferraris, Lambos all over the place here. But then you got all the JDM stuff. You got tons of classic stuff. You got big pickup trucks. You got all that Texas big stuff. Big trucks, big. Monster trucks, right? Big diesels, coal rolling, diesel trucks, big dualies, everything in the country like that. But then you got people running underlights on their highways on the here, on underglow and stuff too. And I got to tell you, if I thought about Texas years and years ago, I would say, man, people ain't going to be into that stuff, man. I don't think they're going to like that stuff, whatever. No, man. No, everybody's open to everything. People are interested. I drive that little K truck around, that thing, people go crazy. It's a nothing little truck, it's a little Japanese little mini truck. You know what they are, right? You see them, they're all over Japan. They're here now with the 25-year rule, and those guys, a bunch of guys with the little mini car, driving around here. People love them. Yeah. They love them, man. They're featured VIP at my event yesterday. They got upfront parking over the $5 million Regera.
So now the old school trucks, mini trucks, are getting the upfront parking treatment like the supercars used to get.
Absolutely, man. Move aside supercars. That's coming through. The Sunny truck parks up front, 69 on the side. She's headline feature right there, man. I'll tell you, more people would come up to that truck at a supercar event than people go up to the supercars. Honestly, it's amazing, but it's great, and it's young people too. It's not just old dudes like me. It's young, and then you get the old dudes like me, guys who probably like me, and they only have Chevys and Fords and Mopars, and all of a sudden they're coming over and saying, "What the?" And then some of them speaking out of the side of their mouth a little bit, like, "What the hell is that thing?" Look at that.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that guy doing, right? But excuse my life. But then again, so many people are open to it, and their kids drag them over to it. Those guys, their kids all know about it, so they've dragged them over, and they see what I do with my kid and the fun we have together on doing stuff. And I, like I said, I hear dads will come up to me and say, "Man, thanks, man, for helping my son and I bought an RX-7. We're going to do a build like you guys did," and that. And, there's something really nice about that, man. It really makes, sounds weird, but I mean, it really motivates me, man. It makes me feel good to hear that.
Yeah.
Look, you're in best of both worlds, Steve. The supercar, hypercar world, the JDM, the Japan world. Which world do you like the best? I mean, in your fleet, you got the best of both worlds.
I think we froze up. There you are. You froze up for a second, but I think your question was, which world do I like the best?
Yeah, which world you like the best, man?
Man, that's a really hard one to answer. I mean, I'm an American, so I mean, you know, this is my world by birth and where I grew up. But I mean, I think I love America more by things I learned in Japan. I think I love Japan more by things I learned here and see here. And sometimes I learned that you got to step away from your natural environment sometimes to appreciate what you have. Because when you're in it all the time, sometimes it tends to lose the goodness in it until you step away from it and look at it from the side. And you know, simple examples of it may be customer service in Japan. Again, my you know, you go to Japan, it's beautiful customer service. You know, there's no attitude. Rarely there's no look at yourself saying, what's up with that fool? You know what I mean? There's people they do their job, they get it done. You leave a restaurant, things are efficient. Most part, they work. You come back here, it ain't always that way, right? And, you know, you sit on a fast food line, you're sitting at fast food, you know, or something, or whatever. It ain't fast no more, you know, and people, you know, maybe they're rude, polite. Here's a simple one, right? At a hotel in Japan in the morning, you know, a smile and a hello. You come back here, you go to the gym, you know, and the girl at the desk like this, and the guy's on his phone, right? And hey, man, just all you got to do is just say hi. Just say hi, man. You don't know what some old dude, how you're going to make him feel good by saying, you know, a cute girl sitting at the desk like this, or the girl at the gym saying, hi, good morning. As fake as it may be, it's still something, you know, and it's so simple, right? But you don't you don't appreciate it until you don't have it. So that's my point. I mean, it's a real hard one to answer, but you know, I love both cultures and all kinds of cultures. In fact, not just Japan and America. You know, I would travel all over Asia and Europe and stuff, and it's fascinating, man. I like meeting people and hearing their backgrounds and their stories, and it makes me appreciate more a lot of times what I have and have more interest in those other cultures to want to learn from them and, you know, try their foods or, you know, visit those places. Sometimes it's that, I don't know, that's my take on it.
Yeah. Now, as we're talking about what you like better, let's take a look at a picture here. Let's take a look at a picture. So this is kind of right in line with what you're just saying, man. You know, people say,
Yeah.
well, what you like best? The old school, new school, JDM, American Muscle, Supercar. When you look at this picture, what does it speak to you when you look at this picture?
It speaks to me about Japan and America, man. It's the blend. It's the ultimate blend of both. It's taken, you know, in America, taking an Italian car, making a Japanese style, and a Skyline, an iconic car, and bringing that Japanese styling here to America, where it wouldn't normally be and exist and have an influence or an impact on people that would never normally see anything like that. It's the ultimate Steve POV shot because it encompasses a little bit of all of that stuff we just spoke about. So you came up with a very good picture to kind of sum up what I was trying to say.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Now I have a side question on that. Right side driver or left side driver?
I like being different, man. So in the US, I like driving right-hand drive. In Japan, I'll drive the left-hand drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was kind of thinking that, man, because I tell you, I'm in a military town here in Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Yes.
And which means that there's always some guy or gal that has the opportunity to be stationed overseas, and they get to bring back something that you don't get to see here.
Yep.
And there's like two Skyliners in the area here.
Yeah.
And, you know, you'll be in traffic and you're kind of looking like, is that,
Yeah,
you know, if it catch you off, it catches me off guard every time. And I know the cars when I see them.
Yep.
And I'm still always like, is there nobody driving that car? Do you get those looks when you're in a right side driver in the US?
Yeah. A lot of people look, they don't get it at first. Sometimes people don't even realize that you're driving it. You know what I mean? They do you get the double take. You know, you get to look that way, and then you get to look back, and you get the double take back, and then you get them sitting there talking to each other, right? Saying, well, something ain't right. What's up with that car, right? You gotta look at even cops, man. If you get pulled over by a cop in a right-hand drive car, you know, I'll tell you what, back in Simi Valley, where I was living in California, we were out, and I got video of it. It's out there where he pulled me over, and he came up and said, what's up with this thing, man? What's going on with this car, man? And I said, it's a right-hand drive car from Japan. He's like, is it stolen? It's not. I said, no, sir. Of course it's not stolen. You know, it's good, but this is I said, but this is a car. The VIN number's here. This is all that. He says, you know, he didn't even know what it was. I mean, California and all that, you know, he had no idea, but it shocked. But at the end, we were taking pictures of the car together, and, you know, it was all cool, but it shocked them. But they're more and more nowadays. So more and more people are seeing them. They're growing more and more in places by you too. I'm sure there's more and more by around a military base, of course. But outside in weird places, man, you get on the farms in rural Texas. I bet you in North Carolina too. You'll see little K trucks, the Japanese K trucks, the mini trucks doing their work, not registered for the road, but doing their work on farms out here. Guys with big houses or big rural lots. They got to get their trash out a mile to the road, right?
Yeah,
What's better than having one of them little trucks right there to do the work? And they are so handy and efficient. And people see them. They're around, man. They're around, and more and more of them growing.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, that's dope, man. Let me check on. Okay, I need to go in the classified section, see if I can find me a little pickup jump, man. But we got a question
They're
from
there.
yeah, we got a
Absolutely.
question from SRT Vibes from a lady driver. Are there more women involved in the Japanese culture than here? Because it seems like there's a shortage of women here in the forefront of the car culture. What about in Japan?
Yeah, so I mean, it's still the balance is heavy male versus female for sure. However, there's videos on my channel. You go back, I find a lot of the Japanese ladies like I met a whole group of them that are into American cars. I hung out with 8 of them one night, did a video, drove with one who drove a Hemi pickup truck, manual transmission, a little Japanese lady. This
Whoa,
dog,
manual.
Hemi powered. And she was cool. I said, man, I want to ride with you. She said, absolutely. I got in with next to her. And I said, take it through the gears, baby. Do it.
Let's
Just
go.
do it. Let's go. But she was one. There was another one who drove an old, man, they just, a good bunch of different old American cars. You know, there's women who are into that. And then, yeah, there's women who are more and more popping up too at different scenes, RX-7s. There's girls who like anime and stuff too, and they've combined the Tasha culture, the animation culture with the cars. And then, you know, you always got the girls who are around who are, you know, girlfriends of the guys who own the cars. I still say it's heavy male dominated, but you know what? There's a video you can look it up where I was at a Daikoku parking. It's the big parking area in Tokyo. I was there and I walked up on this car and it was a girl owner. This girl named, I think her name was Nikki. And she had a cool little, I think it was one of the newer 86s, the Toyotas, and she had exhaust on it and everything. I went up and talked to her. She was that was her car. She built it. She spent money on it. She worked for it and did it too. And she was hanging out just like one of the guys, you know what I mean? There and was having fun. And it was cool, man. I love seeing girls in the car. More and more here. Young women, you know, even high school aged here will come to me at a show. And there's a girl right now who actually just bought her first car in Japan, is waiting for her Soarer to show up here in Texas. I think she's 16, 17 years old, comes out to every event, every meet. Brought her dad, came and spoke with me about a car and doing stuff, got some advice, gave him some ideas. She went out and ultimately searched out a car that she wanted. She's got to come in. So it's growing, man. And there's a lot more young women at events here, at least I noticed in Texas too. And in California, growing more and more in it. You know, you got girls online like Sarah Choi. I don't know if you know who Sarah Choi is, but Sarah's a Korean model. She's very successful in Japan. She's drifting now. You know, you got obviously Miss Amelia from DDE. Look what she's doing, man. Yeah. She's an influence for women to get out, get their hands dirty, go out and do what you love. And as she grew, she blew up. She's doing fantastic. I'm proud of her. I was doing stuff on DDE with her. Back when the DD family was going, with her and Raymond and me and her, the 3 of us did a lot of fun videos together. And, you know, she blew up. Look, God bless her, man. She's doing what she loves. And I think she's an inspiration big time for other women to get into the sport, get their hands dirty, drift, do fun stuff like that.
Nah, that's dope, man. Yeah, she's definitely a big name, big inspiration, man. And you mentioned DDE. And it's funny you just said that, because when you said you got pulled over in the right side driver, I was thinking about when I was in LA last July with some friends, and we were riding in Beverly Hills, and my friend, he's from LA, and he was like, "Oh, that's the police station that DDE is always in." I was like, "Oh, that right? Oh, okay." So he's calling out all the landmarks, right? He was like, "Oh, that's the police station that DDE is always at." Oh, wow, that's cool. And we was like, "Oh man, that's where they be at." Like, yeah, that's where they be at, man. Because people that watch DDE, man, they know they do some wild stuff, man, and they get the attention of, you know,
They also know that the old guy on DDB was the one who stayed away from those police stations in Beverly Hills. Man, I was not. I never enjoyed getting pulled over as much as those guys do. Enjoyed getting pulled over, but
Yeah.
you know, it happens. It happens. So
Yeah, man, those guys are funny, man. So I used to get a kick out of those guys, man. Really cool guys, man. Out of Canada, right?
Yep, Damon and Dave, and you know, and then they sold. Damon and Dave started the channel, and I still am part of their DD family, I guess you could say. And when they're going to be, there's a plan. Once the border opens, they're able to come down to Texas. We're going to do a 10, 15,000 person event to welcome DD back to the U.S. And there are people waiting here. I think we'll do at least 10 to 15,000 people at one of those speedways, so we can burn some tires up and have a great time with DD, celebrating them coming back here.
Man, you're gonna have to send us a little side note. Say, hey, man, you know, we'll get you a little wristband to get behind the velvet ropes or something. You know what I'm saying?
We fly down for sure.
I got some. I might have a couple extra VIP passes sitting in my back pocket at that time. Yes, you guys are covered.
Yeah, for sure, man. And as we're about to wrap things up here, man, I just want to say again, you know, thank you for, you know, coming on the show. But we was talking about you were talking about some culture things, and to me, I'm a former 350Z driver, right?
Okay.
And I'm a former Eclipse driver. So with my '96 Eclipse, it was like the star car of the first Fast and Furious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then with the 350Z, it was the star car of Tokyo Drift.
Mm-hmm.
And I get this question all the time, and I don't have an answer to it when I talk 350Z. Is Tokyo Drift anything like what you experienced in Japan? I never can answer the question, man, because I'm a Z guy. Matter of fact, I think my necklace got 350Z on there.
Yes, it does.
So
yes,
this necklace, this is from a deployment I went on in 2006. So my 350Z was a 2003, but I got this custom made when I was in Bahrain.
Oh, nice.
So tell us, man. Can you tell me, is Tokyo Drift like a biography, or is it fictional?
I think it's a base. Maybe there's a base on truth with a lot of steroids. You know, pumping it up. You know what I mean? I think, you know, you got to have a lot of hype and a lot of action to sell content. So, but the base is there. Listen, Japan is advanced. You know, there's stuff there. There's so much stuff that's automatic. There's so much stuff that's neon. There's so many lights. There's so many cars. There's an underworld. There's you know, the rich world. There's the suits. There's the thing. There's the base for everything there. There's the hot, fast cars. There's the tuning culture. There's there's everything that gave the right basis to go ahead and just Hollywood it. You know what I mean? Hollywood it. Yeah. And once it was Hollywooded, you know, they did a great job, man. Look what those movies influenced people, and how much influence it's had on the world, on Japanese kids, on American kids, on kids all over the world, you know, on Japanese cars, on just the car community in general. You know, we gotta keep doing what you guys are doing. What you're doing is very important, because you got to talk to young people about the future of the car world. You know, there's too many people. I know you mentioned you were talking about a Tesla before, and I think that's fantastic. But we really do got to do certain things about saving manuals. Save the manual movement.
Save the manual. I'm a manual guy too now.
Save the gasoline.
I own the manual.
The gas combustion, you know, internal combustion engine is something that, you know, kids should learn. I talk to young kids today who are growing up. I say to me, you know, they think, you know, I said, well, I got to go to college, or I got to do this. I said, no, man, you don't necessarily have to go to college to be successful, do stuff, and look at stuff too. You got people in the car community right now. You can use your two hands to do stuff. If you like cars, learn how to fix stuff, man. Do stuff. Build models while you're young. Put stuff together. You know, learn how to use your hands. Cut hair, man. I used to in California. There was always young kids, man. I said these kids were the most entrepreneurial kids in the world. They were still in high school. They went out and bought on eBay a set of clippers, and they're cutting kids' hairs for $5, $10 a pop after school, right? Putting the money in their pocket. Those kids learn how to use those hands. They know if they hit hard times, guess what they'll be doing again? They'll be using those two hands to cut hair. You know what? You don't got to go to college. I say you can have nice cars, nice stuff by learning to be a plumber, an electrician, learning how to work on cars. Think about all the old generation of guys who know how to build carburetors, who know how to maintain and time old cars on points and do that. dying. They're going away. They're retiring. They're finished.
Mm.
But those cars ain't going away, man. They're still here, right? So who's going to work on them? I used to see guys show up who knew how to tune carburetors on Ferraris and Lamborghinis, you know, on carbureted older ones. There's a guy in LA, I ain't gonna say his name necessarily, but he's one dude, carry a screwdriver and a little wrench in his back pocket, shows up at Supercar Sunday, walks by the guys with the Muras, walks by the guys with the old Dinos and whatever, and they say, hey, man, I'm running a little, you know, something's wrong with my car. He said, hang tight. He takes a screwdriver, goes in there, does a couple little things, and walks away with $200-300 in his pocket every single time in cash on a Saturday morning.
Yes,
There ain't nothing wrong with that, boys. Learn it, man. The cars ain't going nowhere. They may try to go electric with all this stuff, but guys own these cars. These cars got to be maintained. They got to run. They got to be rebuilt. They're collector items all the way. We need young people to do it, to paint them, to restore them, to do metal work, to welding. Learn welding.
Mm.
Learn to do that, man. That's got to get the young people involved in stuff that's automotive related, and let them know there's nothing wrong with working with your two hands, you know, right, and going right out of school, staying out of debt, and out of high school, and you know, getting through high school, of course, but then going out there and doing something, man. You could have JDM cars. You have that Mark IV Super before you know it, with no debt behind it either.
Come on,
so
man. Boy,
that's people.
Man, you dropped a ton of knowledge right there. Like you literally gave the campaign speech for Save the Manuals, Save the Ice. We're not going into the dark quietly with your electric car mandate, you know. And I totally agree with that. I feel like the movement for electric, and you know, I saw somebody talking about a car with hydrogen engine or whatever.
Yeah,
I think those are cars you can have in addition to your cars. You know what I'm saying? Not like, oh, you can't have ICE cars anymore, and now we have to do what, EV swaps. So everybody with an engine, you got to do an EV swap by 2031. No, that's crazy. But I hear talk like that, man. And California made that announcement.
Yeah,
About some year you got to have certain things, and it's just
it's craziness, you know. I mean, it's that, but I mean, it can't. I mean, this country, man. I mean, motors and internal combustion. I don't want to even get into that whole debate. But all I'm going to say is this, you know. I mean, God bless the technology, and people want to drive electric cars. It's great. I may have an electric car too as something to supplement me at one point in my life too, possibly. Who knows? I'm not going to say no. I mean, I once said one day back in the past I was never going to have a Ferrari. I hated those Italian cars, right? I thought they were stupid. The guys who drove them were a bunch of stuck-up jerks, right?
Hey, you got one.
Now I own one. But you know what's good, though? Because I troll the stuck-up jerks in the Ferraris with my own Ferrari, because mine's pink and white with LED lights all over it. And when I air out at an event, sitting next to a guy in a brand new thing who's a little puffy like that, right? And I get out of my car and they're shaking their head. I said, I'll tell you one thing. The guys in the Lambo club here, when I moved to town, invited me to the Lambo club. And I said, well, I appreciate it, guys, but I don't got a Lambo. It don't matter. If you're crazy enough to drive a Ferrari that looks like that, you know what you do? You're in the Lambo club automatically. So I got a membership in the Lambo club.
Man, that's dope.
Down there.
That's dope, man. Hey, but real quick, man, I just want to say again, thank you for coming on the show, man. It's an honor to have you on here. Yep. And it's tell the people where they can find you on social media before Carl Rail gives you the third degree with these hot 5 random questions, man. They're gonna be rapid fire. I don't know if you're gonna be ready for them or not. So we're gonna tell everybody where they can find you, because after these 5 questions, you might not be in a position to.
All right, here we go. Ready, guys? First of all, thank you everybody for commenting. I noticed a bunch in the chat there, a bunch of guys with nice comments. Thank you, Pat's Garage, SRT Vibes, Shaq Diesel, and everybody else down there. Thank you for tuning in. And yes, Save the Manual, Zay, TRD as well. So you can find me. I am Steve. My channel on YouTube is Steve's POV. On Instagram, I am also Steve's POV. Facebook as well. It's all Steve's POV. My merchandise is for sale on stevespov.com. Free shipping in the United States, to plug that as well. I got all kinds of cool merch, and it's all about positivity in the car community. For me, is what I want to do. I want to try to get along with everybody. Unless they don't want to get along with me, then we'll figure stuff out that way. But you know, for the most part, I want to keep it positive and be a link to a lot of young people, old people, guys in all kinds of different stuff, girls and all kinds of different stuff in this community. And so I appreciate what you're doing, man, and helping promote a good, solid, happy, friendly car community in general. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
no doubt, man. We're all about positivity, man, moving the culture forward, and yes, we're grown. We hear the gossip, we hear all the negative things in life, but we're just choosing to focus on building. So we're you coming on our show is really helping elevate our platform. I know you kind of was like, oh, the subscriber count, all that, man, that's a huge deal to have over 380,000 people that said I want to listen to what you're saying, and I'm one of them. And you really have a lot to say, and I really appreciate again the smile, the jokes, the positive energy, man.
Thank you.
So just thank you for doing what you're doing, man. And I'm glad that we're able to connect with you, and hopefully, man, we'll be able to do some things in the future, man. And
Absolutely.
everybody platform continues to grow. All right, give me the third degree car show.
All right, you ready? You ready? I do this thing called Random Five, where I ask 5 random questions, and you just give
All
me
right.
the answer to come to your mind. Okay.
Try my best. Here we go.
All right. First question. What's your dream car?
Oh man, I see. I got to go faster than that, don't I? Don't I?
Yeah, yeah.
Ken Mary Skyline.
Skyline.
Another
Okay.
Skyline. Next generation Skyline.
Favorite restaurant?
Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. Oh, I'm gonna get oh, my favorite restaurant. Oh,
So
man. I'll say Chick-fil-A. How would I say Chick-fil-A? How's that?
Yeah, Chick-fil-A.
I like Chick-fil-A.
I'm team Chick-fil-A as well. All right, favorite destination place to visit?
Tokyo, Japan, or it would have to be Japan. Let's in general, not just Tokyo, but anywhere in the country. 100%.
Yeah.
Got it. What keeps Steve's POV going every day?
My family, my kid, the people like you guys, people in the community, and hope that there's a lot of great people in this community that I've yet to connect with, and wanting to connect with more and more people going forward from all over the world.
Great stuff. All right, last and final question, number 5. How does Steve's POV wants his legacy to be remembered?
As a no BS kind of guy who did his best to kind of bridge a couple of cultures and communicate with people in a no BS way, and give people a real perspective on things, and share a guy who shares his advice and try to talk to everybody and just try to share some positivity with people, and to connect Japan and America a little closer too for the future, and to motivate some young people. The guy who motivated somebody to maybe get off their butt, get into cars, or get into something, just go out and do something, and be happy and do some good for other people. If I'm remembered that way, I think, and as a good dad and a husband too. Amen. That's it.
There it is.
Man, that's it. You made it, bro. I didn't think you was gonna make it through the random 5, man. We've lost some people over the year. We've lost some people, man. We've lost some friends in these 5 questions.
Too.
I'm good, man. I was a little late on some of the replies, but I'd say those are fairly honest answers for the most part. Yeah.
No, I know how it is, man. But again, man, we really just want to thank you, man, for saying yes. We're not the largest platform in the world, man, but we really have a mission to help people, to motivate people, to inspire people. And I believe that's saving people's lives through mental health, physical health, man. We just want to have a positive place where people can smile, where people can connect that might not normally connect, different races, different faces, different places.
Absolutely.
We feel like Car Talk TV is that place, man. So thank you, man.
The car community is that place too, man. Just to put a plug out there for the community in general. You go out into car meets and everything else, it's a lot of different faces and a lot of different people from a lot of different places who look very different, but are all kind of really getting along real fine from what I've seen. California, Texas, Japan, wherever it may be. It ain't. That's why this thing that I do, this thumbs up thing, right? It ain't,
Yeah.
You know what? I tell people, you can go to Japan. Guys say, hey, I go to Japan, but I don't speak Japanese. I need you as my tour guide. I said, man, you don't go there. Just go, man. Japanese people are going to try their best to want to connect with you. A smile and a thumbs up alone, you change people, man. You crack somebody. You that hard-looking guy sitting by his car on the side, you go over to him. You don't have to even say anything else. Just smile at him and give him a thumbs up. And who knows, man, where that takes you. You meet a guy, next thing you know, you're hanging out with the guy. You're part of his car club. You're doing that. And I tell that to American military guys who are there. Get away from the other military guys. Go walk over, go meet the Japanese people. Go say hi to them. Tell them how you respect their country and their culture and what they're doing to their car. And it's not about the cars that are the shiniest or the nicest or the guys with the most money. Those guys they got what they need. They got enough people kissing their asses. You know what? Go talk to the guys, the younger guys who are working at the convenience store, busting his ass for 900,000 yen an hour and putting all that money and his sweat into his car. Go talk to that guy, man. You know what? He's a cool kid. He's a real kid. Somebody who, you know what, you'll both benefit from each other and probably make yourself a longtime friend over there for somebody like that. Here too, man, too. There's more people. I say there's respect everybody's differences through their cars, through their cultures, through their faces, the different colors. It doesn't matter, man. I think the car community is a great place that transcends all that kind of negative stuff you hear about all the time. I don't see it here, man, in the car community. I'll tell you, I don't see it at all. I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Steve, bro. Again,
he dropping gems, ain't he?
Man, he's dropping gems, man. I could just sit back, man, with my notepad and just jot down. Like you're talking as you always do on your videos, man. Like you're not any different here than I've seen you on your videos, man. You're just all positive, man. And we can tell that you really care about the car community, and you doing what you can to protect it, man. And our little small shop, maybe one day we'll have 381,000 subscribers and over 100 million views. And when we do, we'll be able to talk about those things with you. But until then, man, we're going to grow, man. And we appreciate you being on here because this is going to give us some growth as well. But more than anything, your message is going to save somebody's life, man. So thank you so much.
I'm happy for that too. And I always remember, don't ever forget where you came from, right, too. So, I mean, I had subscribers at one point too that were numbers I was ashamed of. People reached out, helped me, and people did things for me. So, it's my time when you guys reached out to me. That really didn't matter how many subscribers you had or how many views you're going to get or how many people are going to be on the live. If you guys are working your butts off to grow something, if I can help by spending an hour of my time with you, I'm happy to do that. So thank you for the invite.
Yeah, man.
Look, sincerely, thank you.
Yeah, on those powerful, positive words, man, we want to say thank you, man. Car Talk TV Nation, man. Salute to you, man. We're out of here.